Hi, welcome to Christy's Stampin' Spot. I'm Christy. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Arizona. It's been a little while, so I'm on a couple minutes early. I'm checking out to see if I can get all my things up. My sound is right. Um, it's been a little bit since I've been on. I actually forgot to set up my little pad here so I can see comments. Just so exciting. Hopefully everything looks good. It's going good. So how's everyone been? It's Friday. I love Fridays. Um, I've got a long list of stuff to do, but I am so excited. I'm going to show you guys how to use one of the new products that is in our new mini catalog. We're at that last couple of, oh, looks like we're live. We did. A couple of the last week's, I think not even a week. I think we have, it's about a week from yesterday left of celebration. So if there's any of those celebration things that you want, make sure you get your orders in. And we are going to play in the mini catalog today. So let me go ahead and turn you guys down. Hopefully the sound is good. Oop. So far, oh, okay, so my daughter's on, but she said it's a little fuzzy, so hopefully it will even out once we get started. Okay, so mini catalog. We are going to play with the Enduring Beauty stencils today. So I'm going to be, it's on page 38 of the mini catalog. So, and there's three things for the Enduring Beauty. So we have this gorgeous stamp set. We have the coordinating dies as well as these numbered masks. Now, we did something similar with the sunflower in the last mini, but this one we're going to do, it makes it colors this beautiful floral image. So let me go ahead and then we're going to put it all on to a piece of this gorgeous Nature's, what is it called? Nature Sweetness designer series paper. You can find that on page 41. I love, 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 love this paper. It's so pretty. And we're going to use a piece that's got some gold splatter on it. So it's really pretty. Let me go ahead and move this out of the way. And check all my things. Hopefully it's going okay. Just have to remember to check over here for the comments and stuff. Okay, muy bien. So this is the stamp set. And it's gorgeous, the Enduring Beauty. And it has this really big one. And I'm going to stamp it for you guys, although I have a couple of, I've already stamped some so we can show you what it looks like. But it has some great sentiments as well. And it's a pretty big stamp. I am going to use it to stamp it with my, Stamparatus. This is the Stampin' Up! Positioning tool that we used to have. It is now retired. But any of your stamping positioning tools that you have that you love, this will work. I really love stamping positioning tools, so hopefully if you have your Stamparatus, you can get that out and use it. We are going to make a variation of this card today. I use the cord as the back, and I think I'm going to use, we have an online exclusive that's got a silver and gold trim, and we're going to use the gold trim instead of this. It's pretty thick. It's pretty though. It goes with that Nature Sweetness, the Nature Sweetness collection, sweet collection. It's really pretty, so it goes really nice with this paper. But it's thick, so I had to put it up on Stampin' Dimensionals, and then more Stampin' Dimensionals. And then I didn't use another mat. I'm thinking, so for the card that we're going to make today, I've actually cut it down. I've changed it just a little bit because I really wanted to put this paper, I find that sometimes putting ribbon behind a designer series paper, especially if it's thick, it's really nice to have it on a panel. So I've actually cut my Nature Sweetness panel down to, it's like 3 7/8 by 5 1/8, but I'm putting it on a 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, so that the petal pink here shows just a little bit more, and it goes on a did I do with my, oh, I dropped it on the floor. My Pebble Path, which I love, the Pebble Path. And it's one of our ink colors, and then I cut little strips to match to go on the inside of this beautiful Nature Sweetness. I really, really like it. It's got that lovely gold, so it's got the nice font, the background within the gold splatter. It's really pretty. So I thought it looked really great. And this is actually the one that we're going to make today, and I think that'll look really pretty on our card. So here is another version that I made that's with the purples, and this is one of the new online exclusives that will be available to you guys. I think it's starting March 5th. It is the zinnia paper. It's gorgeous that I used for this purple, but and then I used some of the Lost Lagoon ribbon on this one. So this is just another variation. It's so pretty, so pretty. Just really, really a gorgeous thing. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing you need to do is stamp your image. I'm actually going to stamp it in Petal Path. So this is my Stampin' Positioner, and I use the Wallflower sticky mat. I need to really rewash mine, so it's starting to not be as sticky. But and then you just place it. It's because I'm really bad with the magnets, so I really like using the sticky mat. So I'm just putting on, and I've cut my paper down to like the 4 5 1/4, so that seems to work really nice. And then just use my Pebble Path to stamp it. So I've actually made a bunch of them, but I'll show you. I find that I need to use a stamping positioner tool. We do have a really nice huge block, but I find I really like to use the stamping positioner to really make sure I get a good, nice, crisp image. So I think I can zoom this in a little bit. You can see it's nice and crisp. Love, love, love. And then I have this fabulous glass mat. And this is the chamois that comes with the glass mat. That is our joining special that you can get for free when you join my team. It's pretty awesome. So it's one of those fabulous celebration perks. Like I said, you have like a week left to take advantage of it. I hope, we don't know if they're going to bring these to put them in the catalog. They're just the same material as our chamois. Like I've cut my chamois down, but this one is just, it's a little bit thinner. It's really nice. It works really great with the glass mat. I love it so much. Okay, so we can get our thing. And then what I do with to keep my my grip mat as nice as long as I can, I put back the little plastic. I leave it actually inside my Stamparatus, and then I put it back in there, and then I just leave it with that thing and put it in there. So if you have a Stampin' Positioner tool and you're not really thrilled with the magnets, I would look into those Waffle Flowers. I think you can get them like on stamp.com. I think also on the Waffle Flower site. And I think there's a couple other kinds of those grip maps. That's the one that I use. But they come in a bunch of different sizes. So I know that some of the positioning tools, they actually fit in. I use the 6x6 in mine. Okay, so I just put that back. Okay, so I love this glass mat. So I'm just going to tack mine down. I did it in black for this one. So you can see the difference in the black versus the Pebble Path. So the black is definitely stronger but this makes it a little lighter image. But it's still so pretty. Okay, and then I'm just going to tack it down. And it doesn't really matter. You're going to need to move your things around a little bit so that it fits. I want to make sure I zoom in. I want to make sure I've got this in a good place. So I was going to go on yesterday, but I could not get my camera to work. Actually, I've been having some serious trouble with the camera. Several hours of messing with it. Luckily, my husband came home, he was able to do all the magic on the computer to make it work. I was having problems with 2 of my focusing tools countermanding each other, so everything was blurry. It was very terrible. It was so terrible. Okay, so I'm going to put that up. All right, so this is so I've got my down. Now you don't have to use the stamp if you want. Here is what it looks like just using the stencil with the colors that I'm going to use today. So it's still very pretty just with the stencil. Like I said, you can buy all three of the Enduring Beauty, the dies, as well as the dies, as well as the stamp set separately, and the masks. And what's cool about, or you can buy them all together with one as the bundle, which is how I did it. If you want all the things, now it doesn't matter which how you put them on there. You can do all the leaves first. You can do all the flowers first. It doesn't really matter. You just want to make sure that you start. I find though that when you start with the leaves and the flowers, that you use the biggest ones first. So that would be like, this is the number one. So they are actually, I don't know if you can see that. See how it's got the number one at the top? And then the leaf is, I believe it's number two. So I would definitely start with these two first and always do the bigger. It's better if it's lighter and then build up with your ink colors. So with the leaves, I'm just going to use the Lost Lagoon and just do two different, and use the colors to make it stronger. That's so for here, right, for this one, it is, I just use Lost Lagoon. But I use Petal Pink, and then I use the Calypso Coral for the flowers. And so I'm just going to use the Petal Pink and Calypso Coral for the flowers, two different colors. And I'm going to be using my mini brushes. So I like these, and you get them 3 in a pack, so that makes it nice since I'm going to use 3 colors. So I don't actually, I don't have one for every color. What I usually like to do is I use, I will, let's see if we can make it bigger so you guys can see the colors. I usually will rinse them after I'm done, so I don't have to have like a ton. I'm not one that wants to have like have a ton of the colors. So I have it, and I have one of the very nice Stampin' Up little stands. So after I wash them, then I just set them back in the stand and for them to dry, and that works really, really well for me. Okay, so this is what it looks like without the using the stamp set, and then this is what it looks like with. I have another one somewhere. I've got too many things on my desk, so you guys can see that that's kind of what it's going to look like. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So you're definitely going to need some masking tape. I think if you, or this kind of tape, if you have your own glass mat that has like a magnet underneath, and sometimes that'll work too. I really love using the glass mat with the blending brushes. It's really nice. I really, really, really like it. I wasn't sure because I'm not one that's had the glass mat before. So really gotten a chance to play with it. Okay, so as you see, I put my image the way I like to have it look. So it doesn't exactly match. So you need to go around. I think it's, so I usually look for, these are the 2 big flowers. So now I will zoom in so you guys can just see the flower. There we go. So if you look, right, you should be able to see it just click in when I get it to where it goes. There we go. You guys see that? How it kind of just clicks. I mean, it doesn't actually click, but you move it around so you can just show on the outline. It's a little bit harder. If you're going to do this without the outline, then you would use these little notches and line the notches up, and that's like the best way to figure out where it goes. And I'm going to remember that this is where my notches are so that I can have it in the right place. I'll know that this is where it is. And then with the glass mat, you can actually write on it, and then it'll rinse off if you want with the dry eraser. I'm just going to use some of this nice sticky tape. And this is Stampin' Up. It's a Post-it tape. This is the mint tape from scrapbook.com. You can use Post-it tape, masking tape. Okay, so like I said, you really need to use your lightest color first for your, I find I like it that way. So I'm going to use my Petal Pink. So I'm going to go ahead and use my Petal Pink with my brush. And like what we did before, kind of tap it here, and then you go over. You can bring that color that you've left on your mask in the same way you do with a glass mat when you're doing it closer. You can bring that when you use your blends on or your blender brushes on paper, when you're using your a piece of grid paper. The paper actually soaks up some of your ink. When you do it with these masks, or when you're doing it without the mask, blending on the glass mat, it works the same, where you can just tap it off so you don't have as much the huge, and then you can bring it in. So it's much easier to do a lighter, bit of a lighter touch. I want to add a little bit more color just to the bottoms, a little bit to some of the little edges. That Petal Pink, just a little bit. But isn't that pretty? So pretty! That's it. So it's not that much. I'm going to go ahead and close this up. And then, and of course you can always, if you decide later you need more color, you can always just use your mask again. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? And that's one of the reasons I really love this. You can use your other chamois, but look how this just kind of is so easy to wipe the color off your mask. So I can wipe that off the number one mask. That way, if I don't accidentally get that color on anything else, which I don't want to do, right? You don't want to do it. Okay, so the next one I want to do is the Lost Lagoon, and I'm going to do it with the big leaf. And again, let's see. Remember, I put it down here in this bottom corner, so I just have to remember where I kind of put it. And then you kind of just maneuver it so till you're over those lines. Kind of fits in there. Pretty. Now, I did do, with your Stamp It positioning tool, you could do do all your blending and then stamp at the end, which I did do on one of them. Go. I just need to make sure I get it. And I definitely need 2 pieces of the tape because I'm a little too rough. And I move things. I need to get another grip mat so that maybe I could do this on top of the grip mat. I guess I could have moved it from my Stamping positioning tool, but I just want to keep it in there. Okay, so I'm going to use the Lost Lagoon. And again, I want this one to be lighter because I'm going to put the same color on top. And so I'm just going to, do that, pat it so that a lot of the color, so it can go lightly, right? So tap it so that it's more even. So you won't get like a big blob of the color on your leaves because I want it to be a little lighter. There we go. Pull that through. And then all that ink that I actually tapped off isn't wasted. I can just bring it in. I really like the smaller brushes better. I feel like I have more control. And I don't know if that's because I feel like I have a lot less control after I broke my wrists. But I do find that I really like the smaller brushes. There's some things I still like the bigger brushes for, but I find that I've been more and more I want to use my little blending brushes. But these are really fun. But this is kind of like magic because it holds with the stencils, which we haven't done that many. Like I said, we have some stencils, but where we use them to like color the image. It's pretty awesome. Okay, there we go. So I've got that kind of like the way I like it. Let me close my green. Set that aside. Okay, so then we can just pull that off. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So pretty. So pretty. Then again, I'm going to take my chamois and just lightly. Just be careful when you're cleaning these that you go lightly. It could be better just to go under the sink and rinse the color off so that you don't want to bend any of your pieces. So you want to make sure, especially with the more intricate ones, that you don't rub too hard to try to clean it off so that you don't want to accidentally bend the pieces, because when you start bending them, then they don't set down as good, and then you have some problems with your keeping it down when you're doing your blending. Okay, so if you remember, I had it over here on the side, so I kind of know where to start, because it's a little harder with the other pieces. The first two are really easy, because these ones kind of don't have really have lines to go on. You just know that you want it to be inside the flower, so you don't have you're not way far away, or you don't see any of the green, because anything that sticks through is what you're going to add the color to. So yeah, so you kind of remember where you've got your little notch. Like I said, you can always use a marker, a dry erase marker. If you're using a glass mat, or you can mark it on your grid paper, however you're doing it. That's the best. Okay, so now I'm going to use my Calypso Coral, and that is a darker color, so I definitely want to be more careful, because I don't want to get it too dark, because I have one more layer on top of this one, right? So, but I'm going to tap it here and then rub it on. So pretty. So smooth. And then what I love is I can pick up that color on the edge and use it, so I don't feel like I'm wasting a lot of my ink. I know before I was feeling like I was using a lot of ink. I know that when I'm using just the glass mat, I feel the same way. I can just pick up that color again and move it onto my project, and I feel like I'm not using I don't have to take the glass mat over and do it and put it under the sink, right? The chamois cleans it really nice and easy, and I don't have as much ink on there. We also have the really cool little grip thing, a little grip tray, which is also nice, especially if you want to use watercolors. You're going to make a watercolor palette. It's nice. There you go. So I've just got an even amount. Like I said, if you pull it up and you decide you need a little bit more, you can always set your stencil back onto your paper and add more color if you think you need it. Let's see what it looks like. Ooh, that's pretty. So it's kind of a subtle, which I really like. See that? It's very pretty. Put it back down. So let's say I want to add, well, I don't know, I really like the way it looks. Maybe I want to add a little bit more to this flower. So again, we know you can just put this back on. There. It's a little bit easier to put it back on because you can really see the difference between the petal pink and the Calypso Coral, so you can find your spot again easier. Oops, and I moved it as I stuck it down. Let's see. Where was I? Right here. Now you have to hold your tongue just right. But it is possible to do it, which is kind of cool. Okay. So let's say I want to just add a little bit more. Oh, that's my die, sorry. To like the inside, right there. Just a little bit. Just a little darker. But I'm really liking the lighter color. I'm using that petal pink as my my other side. See, there you go. I've just added just a little bit more color. It goes right on, which I think I can zoom in. Okay. It's very pretty. Love, love, love. Okay. And I am using it on the pebble path, which is nice too. So it's also not as crisp. Okay, then, oh, I forgot to wipe this down. Add a little bit more ink on here. You guys don't have to see me wipe that off. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to do, this is the veins on the leaf. And I always do check, even though I move this around, you want to make sure the number is up facing you. That's always the best. That way you at least know you have a chance of getting it the right way. So with this one's fun because you're going to put this one on and it's going to do the a couple of the stems that you, which is kind of nice. Okay, so let's move it around. Get it in the stems. There we go. Okay, so you should be able to see it. So all your little pieces should be in the green, and then these little stem pieces, you'll be able to see it good. So, and get it down. I really do. Like I have a hard time with stencil because I'm a little too rough on my space. Okay, so I'm just going to use a Lost Lagoon again, and then just putting it on a little bit darker. So even just a little bit makes it nice. But I think I really want my leaves to be darker. So I want to make sure I get in there. And I think for these little ones, I really like the smaller brush. To really get into those like little cranny pieces. Because you really want that for the shading. Make sure you get in there. And like I said, I just think it's easier for me to use the smaller brush. But of course, it's probably what you're used to. And of course, you can always use, too, if you don't like the blending brushes, you can use a sponge dauber would work. Sponge would work, too, with those techniques. I just like using the blending brushes. This is fun to use these. And then I want to make sure I really kind of want it a little bit darker. And you know you've got the color because these the little stems did not have color before. So, because sometimes it's a little hard to tell, like how dark it's on your other pieces. But you can tell on that one because it was completely white before. So there we go. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So now, let me pull it up and see. So you can always put it down if you don't like it as much. Ooh, no, that's pretty. Love, love, love. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close this. So let me pull it up. You can really see that detail. All right, so it's nice and light, but it's not too dark. It's very pretty. Okay, so the last one. So I wanted to show you. So this one I'm going to do is the... I need to clean this off. I might as well set my stuff down into it. I'm just really bad with color. I'll put my hands in the color. Okay, so this is this one. So a lot of people leave this off because we already have this. I like it because it adds just a little bit of dimension. So on this one, I actually used the wild wheat to kind of give it more of a gold. And boy, that wild wheat went on really dark. Like I was a little bit too heavy-handed, I think, with the wild wheat. It's pretty, but let me show you. Let me see if I can find the other one, which I just had out, that I've actually cut already. Let me set my stuff aside. What did I do with it? Nope. No, it's too much. Sometimes I get too much things. What did I do with it? It was like right here. Did it fall? Oh, it fell on the floor when I dropped the other thing. I love oh my gosh, I drop stuff all the time on the floor. So I really love my take a pick tool because I can use the putty end to kind of lift it up a little bit, which is nice when I drop stuff. And then when I drop dies, which sadly I drop all the time, I got one of those wands from Amazon. You've seen those little wands with the little, it has a little magnet, little wand that I can telescopes out so I can pick it up off the floor. That's true. Because I drop them all the time. Okay, here it is. So this one, if you can see, I've already die cut it out, but this one I just used the Calypso Coral to add a little bit more dimension, and I think it looks nice. So that's really a preference. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what it looks like. It might be that you like it to be a little dark. This is, like I said, the gray, so it's not even black. So remember to make sure you could see your number and kind of know where you kind of were. Like I knew I was over here in this corner, and you can kind of line it up on your thing. Now it doesn't line up 100%, so keep that in mind. It won't be exactly. It won't line up like on top of. The other ones all line up on top of, but this center does not. So you just want to keep it kind of in the center. Go ahead, just like that. Muy bien. Okay, let me get my Calypso Coral out and my Calypso Coral brush. Okay, and then just add a little bit of color on top. This one is a little bit darker. I am going a little bit darker on that. So I think I'm going to put, I really liked that I put a little gold on the inside. It's pretty. Okay. So there we go. Muy bien. I'll close this up. Like I said, when I'm done with my brushes, when I'm done with my colors, I'm just going to run these under the sink, and they'll come out. If it feels like I need a little bit more, I'll put a little bit of Dawn, but I just rinse them out, and then then you wait till they're completely dry, and then I just reuse them over and over. Right? They don't come 100% clean, but they do come almost completely clean. So you know that it doesn't transfer the color. I find that I don't use them enough to justify the expense of getting, like multiple colors, right? Just one for the light pinks and dark pinks. And I don't like it when the colors blend. The colors transfer, right? I like it to be more of a true color. So for me, it's easier to do it that way. Okay. All right, muy bien. So there is our pretty. See that? Not pretty? Love it. It's nice. It's pretty. It's subtle. I can add some ink of still. Then you can die cut this out. So take off my tape. I usually save my tape. I like a lot of little container. And then this is the die. These are beautiful dies. Let me go ahead and zoom back in. Or out. And it is Enduring Beauty dies. How many are they? I need to get out my 10. I haven't done my labels. I totally need to get my labels. Like so behind on all the things. Okay, it has this beautiful label die. It has a bunch of these little ones that are great outline dies, and then these cute little center dies. Now I'm not using any of those for my project today. I'm just going to use the big die that cuts out my image, and I'm just going to use it off camera here really quick. But it just lines right up. I could just fussy cut it out too, but I will. Make sure I get this on completely. Okay, here's my cut and emboss machine right here. I have it like right off camera. Uh-oh. I moved the die on my paper. On my die machine, I crash everything down. What was that? Oh, it was just extra. Hold that in. I have it on my. I keep my stamp cut and emboss machine on one of those little carts. I think you can get them at. I got this one at IKEA, but they have them at Michael's, and theirs. My daughter has a really nice one she got from Michael's. Just go ahead and send this through my machine. I just haven't figured out how to not get my my table just is so wobbly that I shake it too much. There we go. Muy bien. So nice. So nice. But I do use this tape. I use this tape a lot for my dies. Like I said, you can use Post-it tape. You can actually use Post-it notes too. It's really what you like. I just like this tape because it doesn't tear my paper, and I can reuse it. So there we go. There's our pretty flower. Isn't that gorgeous? It turned out so pretty. I love it, love it. Okay, so like I said, let's go ahead and do here. This one I went a little bit darker. You can see the difference. I really like the light. I wanted it to kind of match the petal pink. Okay, so let's build our card. Let me get my paper out. Scratch paper. Hopefully that means that we have less of a glare with the. And what I did is I just took our grid paper and I just cut it in half. So I can use it on here and get all my little pieces. Muy bien. Okay, so I'm using a piece of Petal Path, and it is the 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2 for my basic. And I think I can make this a little bit in. There we go. And then I have a piece of Petal Pink cardstock, and this is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And I will have all these measurements up on my blog. And then this is that beautiful Nature Sweetness. I just really love how pretty this is with the gold splatters. And this is at 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. So it's the same size as my basic inside paper. And I do that because it just will give the petal pink just a little bit more. And I definitely liked, so on this other one I did not have that, and I wrapped it, and sometimes when you wrap the designer series paper, it's a little bit thin. I felt like I had to really use a lot of dimensionals. So use my glue and just add my piece to my cardstock. I just really like having it a little bit extra, and I really do love layers. I don't have enough layers. It just doesn't feel right. It's just not heavy enough in my hands, I think. It's funny. But I do really like Petal Pink. It's one of my favorites. And Calypso Coral, of course. So it looks so pretty. Okay, and so I'm not going to put it right on here. I'm going to put the ribbon. And like I said, on this card, I used, this is the gold faux leather trim, but it's pretty thick. Although you can make a nice little bow. It is nice. But I'm going to use one of our exclusives, and this is the trim. And it comes in silver. It's the gold and silver trim, and I'm going to use the gold one, which is on this side over here. But it comes as a pack of 2, and these are like an online exclusive, so you'll find those at my online store, but it's not in a catalog. And we've been doing more and more of those online exclusives. We're getting a bunch. Like, oh my goodness, there's so many fabulous things. Okay, so now I'm going to use my cutout here to kind of decide where I want my my ribbon to go. And I kind of want it to be like this. So I kind of want to put it here. So that's where I'm going to, it's about in the center. So just kind of want to look and see like where you want to position your flower onto your card front so that I know where I want this to go across. So that's basically, I know I want it to go almost directly in the middle, and then I can maneuver everything. So go, cut that off. And I used to use my Stamp & Seal a lot to put on my ribbon, but now I've really started using the tear and tape because it does give it really nice, it holds the ribbon really nice, and then you can put another piece on top, and then the glue, and it really holds the ribbon close to the panel, the back card base. And I find that it's less likely for your ribbon to pull out, so you don't feel like you have to use like a huge tail on each side. Like you don't feel like you're wasting as much because the tear and tape really holds on to. It really holds on to the ribbon. Really nice. Go. So you just have to get the backs off. But it doesn't hold so hard that you can't reposition. Because if you set it down and then you couldn't get it back up, that would be hard. But it's not. It works pretty good. So that's about like where I want it to go. just like that. And maybe I want it to put it a little bit lower. So I can just move it just a little bit lower on the tape. So that's nice, but it holds it really nice when I stick it down. And I can see. There we go. Because I want to put my ribbon over the top. So in this little space right here where it's kind of shorter. So I've got the ribbon on this side. So it goes across. You can see more of the ribbon, and it's a great place to put my bow, which is why I'm thinking I want to do it that way. Okay, so then before I attach this, I'm going to use some more of the tear and tape and put it on top so that I've now secured it to the card, the panels, the cardstock panels. And but yeah, sometimes with the designer series paper, especially if you're using like a really heavy, like this was a little heavy, I should have definitely backed it, the designer series paper, with a piece of cardstock. I did not, so it felt a little flimsy. It kind of felt too delicate almost, which I was a little concerned that I might rip it. It didn't. It seemed to hold really nice. That Nature Sweetness is really nice, but I thought, ooh, if I'm going to do it again, we'll do that. Just add a little bit of glue around the edge. And add this to my card front. Pebble Path, which I really like Pebble Path. And they use Pebble Path in the words, which is why I decided to use the Pebble Path instead of black. The black looked really nice on the purple one. I used the purple and the Gorgeous Grape, which really is pretty, but I thought because the words are in Pebble Path that I'll use Pebble Path, and I do love it. It's like early espresso. It's a nice alternative to black. And then, you see that one's like much darker. I kind of like the light. I think the light is so pretty. So again, depending on how heavy-handed you are, you can really determine how dark. It's really nice. Okay, so then when I'm putting this on, I want to make sure not to put them in the middle so that I don't want to, because then it causes a bump, right? Because it's a little bit different in the shape of these on the edges. And then I do want to put something in the middle, but I'm going to put it, I know that this is my middle because I want it to be there. So I'll put it over here on this side and on this side. I do use a lot of dimensionals. So instead of putting it right here in the middle, because I don't want my Stampin' Dimensional to be over it. So it's like, it gives it a nice little, what is that, a channel for your ribbon. So that is exactly how I like it. It feels good. Take off all these little backings that are everywhere. Doesn't matter how careful I am, I get them everywhere. They attach to everything. Travel with me everywhere. You can tell paper crafter that uses these because they are on everything. Things you wouldn't even think they would be on. Okay. There we go. Just like that. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. Oh, so pretty. Okay. Then let's use our, then we'll make a little bow. The gold. And I do it on this spool. You can always, depending on what you're comfortable with, shorter. I just don't like to waste a lot of ribbon. So I'm used to doing it. Although this little ribbon would be pretty to do a double bow. But just gonna do it. And then the ribbon's nice, but it's not fluffy, right? Like so. This is one of those that will look really good. You want it to be kind of a little bit stiffer. And then, oh, that's pretty. Let me zoom that in so you guys can see that better. There we go. So, let's see. I always start off with wanting it to be big, and then I pull it shorter. Okay, so I want it to go this way. I don't think so. I think I like it that way. Or does it look better this way? You guys think that way? The other way. I think I like it out. I'm going to try to fluff the unfluffable bow and then just trim this off. Like that. And put it there. So I need a glue dot to attach that. I love our glue dots. Okay, so, and I'm just gonna, I'll probably use two. Not that I need two, I probably don't need one, but. Go, and then I'm just gonna roll it so it's behind. I'm kind of rolling the glue dot so that it's all behind, because this is kind of a thin ribbon. Kind of like you would do if you were using the linen thread. There we go. Isn't that pretty? And then it brings out that gold. So pretty. I like it. And then I'm going to use, these are the Naturals adhesive backed sequins. I love these because they don't have the holes in the middle. I love the ones without the holes. So let's see. I think, so for the other one I did, I actually put them on the flowers in the center. I don't know. And this one I think I want to just put them around it instead. Maybe. Let's see. Yeah, I like that. I like that better. And then, there we go. Ooh, nice. Okay, so that looks gorgeous even without a sentiment. Now, if we want to put a sentiment on, you can put it right here. But you almost don't need a sentiment. It's very pretty. I did put one on here that you mean so much to so many, which is very pretty too. I love what I would say as a companion to this set, which I really like, the Enduring Beauty. I actually loved how this stamp kind of matches these flowers. I think it looks really pretty. So I'm going to use this one, and then it's got a nice thank you. It's got a thanks too, and I'm going to stamp that on the inside. So like I said, my inside piece is the same as that I cut for my paper piece, Designer Series Paper Sweetness, Natural Sweetness, Nature Sweetness. It's 3 7/8 by 5 1/8, and the same. So I just cut the paper so it doesn't really have a big of a hangover because it's the same size as this one. I just cut another little strip off. I'm going to put that on the bottom for my inside piece. And again, I'm going to put the other piece so it fits right on top. And then I'm going to put the other strip the same amount on the back of my card. So pretty. Okay, so what I want to do too is I'm going to cut. So I actually stamped it on a scrap piece in the Pebble Path. So I stamped from the Timeless Arrangements on a scrap piece of basic white, and then I'm going to use my colors. And so I'm going to use the dark Petal Pink, my light Lost Lagoon, and my light Calypso Coral to color this flower to match this flower, right? So I'm going to go ahead and take my dark Calypso Coral, or the light Calypso Coral as my dark color. I'm just going to add a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit, because I used a lot of the Petal Pink, not as much of the Calypso Coral in that one. And then I'm going to take this one's a light, I need the dark. My dark Petal Pink, and then color it in. And what I love is that even though I used my blending brushes, this image matches very nice, and the coloring matched very nice with my blended, the blending that I did on the other. And then I'm just going to take, this is the light, my light Lost Lagoon. Now this, the Timeless Arrangements has some dies that will cut these out, but I'm just going to cut it. So I cut it a little short. I'm just going to fussy cut it out because fussy cutting for me is actually, especially these little things. I could get out my mini, which would work too, but I just fussy cut so much that it's easier for me to just fussy cut out my image. So, just fussy cut this out. Like I said, you could get the Timeless Range, which I love, has dies. Has a great set of dies, actually, to cut out this, to die cut out the image, so you don't have to fussy cut. For those that don't like to fussy cut, me, it's actually easier than going and finding the dies and then putting it on, because I just want to do this one flower. And I am cutting this one pretty close. You don't have to. You can leave a lot of white around it if you want. I'm actually just cutting it so that I can see more of the, I'm going to set it on top of the, I used as my strip, that paper. There we go. That pretty? Oh, so pretty. I'm just going to glue it right there, which is why I chopped some of it off, because otherwise it would be too long. It would be too long, but it's so pretty. Okay, so I'm just going to use some glue. I'm going to grab my wrong glue. I have some right here, but it's almost out of glue. I've moved all my things. Okay, so a little glue. And I do like to use glue. It's her, my daughter sneezes, bless her. You got that on here like that. Not pretty. Just adds a little bit more on the inside, which I love, and then we can add it to our card front. Matches so pretty. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So I really like it when they have our stamp sets that match. You know, they can coordinate, especially with one that's big like this. It doesn't really have like a matching little one. I was going to stamp it again and then just fussy cut out the blooms, but I was like, oh, I kind of like that one, kind of matches, and then I didn't have to do that, because then I would have to do a whole nother blending it and then cut it out, which you totally can do if you wanted to add that to the inside or the back of your card, to make it match, because it will be harder to match how they did the how the stencils look on this with blends. I mean, you could do it, but it would be really hard, I think, to make it close. But for this little piece, you can't. It doesn't. You know, it's much easier to try to replicate that look with a little piece than it is to try to do a bigger piece of the stamp. But isn't that pretty? Oh, love. And of course, it's not done unless I do my Stampin' Up! In the back. So here is, I'm going to use the Pebble Path with my my Stampin' Up! Logo, and this is from the Stamped with Love, which again, oh, I made it so it was two. There we go. I Stamped with Love right there on the edge. This is probably most likely one that won't stay. So next month, middle of the month, we're going to On Stage, which means we're going to see the new annual catalog. I know, I can't believe it's already analog, the new annual catalog. So that means in April, we will know what we'll be retiring, but we do know that all of the in colors, the Sweet Sorbet and Tahitian Tide and Starry Sky, we know those are retiring. So if those are colors that you love, make sure you guys go on and get those, especially now where you can get rewards with Celebration. It's a great time to add stuff. So if I wanted to add, so this one I don't have any kind of sentiment, so I can use it and keep it, and then if I know I need a sentiment, I can just add one nice on to this card. Like I said, this Timeless Arrangements has a lot of really nice sentiments, and so does the Enduring Beauty. So those are two that are great to have in your stash. Oh, so pretty. I hope you guys will like this quick look at how to use the tutorials. Like I said, here is what it looks like with those same colors. Without the line, you can see that's really different. Right? You can really see it better, I guess, with this one. That's what it is. And you can then, of course, if you decide you don't like, you can always put that back on your stamp and positioning tool and then stamp the image on top of it, which would also look awesome. But it's definitely a different look, but still gorgeous. And then of course you can always add, like I've added the gold on the inside. This one I put on the outside. This one's a much lighter touch. This one's a little bit heavier to match my heavier ribbon. Pretty. Oh, love, love, love. And then in this one I actually used the thank you for being you. And that actually is a sneak peek of the Magnolia Mood, which is, I'm going to be playing with this. This is one of the new online exclusives. But as a demo, I was able to get my hands on it early. But you guys should be able to get that one coming up. And if you love magnolias, that is a beautiful set. The dies are just gorgeous. So anyway, so this is the Enduring Beauty. You get these Enduring Beauty dies. They are pretty awesome. And our stencils are nice, heavy. They clean up really nice. And it's so much fun to use those blending brushes to color. So pretty. So if coloring is not one of your favorite things, but you want to try, this Enduring Beauty is a great way to play with those and use those blending brushes. And again, like if you want to get this glass mat, you got another week to do so before with Celebration. And that means when you place an order at my online store with $50 order, you can pick from the $50 items, and there's a few annual catalog items on there now, as well as the Celebration ones, as well as with 100. So if you like those jungle dies that go with the jungle set, it's pretty awesome. Like there's always something awesome to get. I love, love, love. And if you decide you want to join to get this gorgeous glass mat, which is what I've got with the chamois, and it comes with this white grip mat and the chamois and your glass mat, there's no guarantee that demonstrators will be able to get them later, or any of it will be available to customers later. But you have a week to still get it to join Stampin' Up! And what's awesome is it's for free with your $99 starter kit. Or if you don't want the glass mat, you can get $30 more in product. But you can also you get to see and pick any of these new online exclusives that go live March 5th. We have a gorgeous coffee set and the beautiful zinnia. That's one paper, that purple paper that I showed you. So beautiful, so much awesomeness. There's always something awesome, right? But I love that glass mat. And let's see. Oh yeah, and don't forget we have Paper Pumpkin, and it is our birthday month for Paper Pumpkin. That means a free set. And they did say that the free set is it's a two-step stamping set that's free. It goes with the those meadow, it's not Memorable Meadows, Meandering Meadows suite that's on the in the online store. That's just the online exclusives. I love that paper. It's so gorgeous. It matches. We've seen a couple of sneak peeks. This is beautiful. I mean, if you're going to get Paper Pumpkin, this one's gorgeous. It has the dies I think are still available that are Paper Pumpkin dies that you can still get to match. But the stamp set is a little bit bigger than the D block. So you will either need your positioning tool, stamping positioning tool, or a bigger block for that. But you can check out on my website for all the information about the Paper Pumpkin. And of course you can always find all about joining and ordering on my website. So thank you guys so much. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's card and using those Enduring Beauty die stamp set and the masks. And they are pretty easy. They're pretty fun too. Like I said, they're numbered and they have a notch, so you can do those. The notch I only really used when I did without the line. I usually use the line, but actually, if you're really good, you can get them all lined up and do it that way too. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday, and happy stamping. Bye, guys.